Hi Capricorn, welcome back to the Astrology 33 channel. This is your April 2021 tarot reading. Thank you to those of you who've liked, viewed, shared, subscribed, and donated to the channel. I appreciate all of that. And for those of you new to the channel, as far as what we have in front of us, it's a Celtic crossbreed as always, and I actually pulled an Oracle card and a Mudra card as well. But we're going to start the reading off with these astrology dice that are in front of us to get an idea of where your focus will be as far as the astrology goes. So we'll get started with that. Okay, so we have 10, so that's the 10th house, which is the house you guys naturally rule, but for you guys that's Libra. We have Mars, and Mars is actually in Gemini right now, which for you guys that's your 6th house of work, daily routine, and health. And we have Leo energy, so for you guys that's your 8th house. So we'll keep those in mind as we go through the spread. Alright, in the main situation position we have the Tower. So naturally this usually represents an ending that seems to be a bit unexpected, right? You feel like you've gotten to a certain level around something and then something seems to come along to sweep that away. Now, for a lot of you, I feel like this, given the rest of the spread, and we'll get to that as we get through it, I suppose, but yeah, what I'm feeling here is for most of you, this might be a Tower moment that you guys actually will be the ones enacting. Or at the very least, I feel like this is something that you guys have kind of known needed to go, but for whatever reason, might have been putting that off. And the reason I say that is because in the Challenger obstacle position, we have the Chariot. So this is actually Cancer energy, which is your opposite sign. But really, this represents to me usually a lot of spiritual growth and movement. And seeing this show up here, you know, I mean, basically they're both... the Tower card is 16 in the Major Arcana, which reduces to 7, and then also this is a 7. So they're similar energies in a way, but this is more of, you know, being on the right path and making that move for yourselves, whereas the Tower is kind of that moment where, you know, if you don't take that action on your own, the universe will kind of step in to do it for you. So overall, whatever this is, it looks like it's going to be for your best interest long term anyway, that the Tower moment does happen. But yeah, with this showing up in the challenge position, I feel like this is saying that for the majority of you, you know, you're being pulled in a different direction, spiritually speaking, and for whatever reason, you probably did feel that coming for a while, but I feel like for a lot of you, you might have just been putting off the inevitable in a way. For some of you, this can be around leaving a relationship as well. I do have to at least mention that since that's your opposite sign. In the foundation position, we have the 7 of Pentacles. So this is actually Taurus energy, which for you guys is your 5th house, so that could also point to romance, creativity. But really seeing this show up here, again, I'm getting that feeling that this was a situation you guys probably weren't happy with, you know, but maybe you might have felt like, kind of like that loyalty thing, right, where maybe you put in a lot of time toward the situation, so it could have been 7 years for some of you, for example, where you've been working towards something. Could be finances, could be a relationship, like I said. But maybe just feeling like you were running out of steam for it, you know, maybe you were losing passion for what you were doing, or maybe you just felt like you would have been further ahead than what you were, so there could have been, you know, a bit of a loss of desire to do the job, or again, for some of you, could be a relationship. In the past position, we have the 2 of Pentacles, and this is actually Capricorn energy. So again, I feel like there could have been some indecision on your part. So, like I said, I feel, although I did start by pointing out that the Tower is usually a sudden, abrupt change, for a lot of you, I feel like this was something that you knew you needed to do in a way, or, you know, at the very least sensed that it was coming, but just might have been putting it off for a bit. So this could have been the energy you guys have been in. So, for example, with the generic job example, right, maybe it's a job that you weren't necessarily too happy with, but then in the past you were trying to figure out, oh, all right, well, if I do decide to leave it, how am I going to make ends meet? You know, so it could have been one of those things that you were going back and forth on. Maybe you even started a secondary source of income, and that might have been a bit overwhelming. So let's say you had your traditional job, but then you also started to run your own business on the side, and, you know, first you might have been trying to manage both of those at the same time, but you could just be coming to realization like, all right, maybe your business you started has been expanding, for example, and you're like, okay, I can't manage both anymore. So that would be just a generic example of how it could play out, where the universe is kind of nudging you and saying, hey, your side gig that you started up here is picking up steam. It looks like you're not able to manage both. It might be time for you to leave the old thing behind, or at least decide between the two, right? In the present position, we have the Hierophant, which is Taurus energy, and the Page of Wands. So I could almost see the contrast again there, right? The Hierophant representing the traditional, the tried and true, and then the Page of Wands energy kind of like has that fresh start to it, right? Not necessarily rebellious per se, but definitely that, newer, fresher energy being brought to a situation. So for some of you, again, there could have been that hesitancy on your part to actually take action toward the new thing because you just felt like, all right, well, this is what I've been doing for years, right? So maybe there's that comfort and familiarity with it. But then there's also like a calling that I feel like you guys are feeling that are kind of nudging you toward the new. So that's what I'm kind of seeing there. And for some of you, could just be saying that maybe you're putting things in place so that by Taurus season, you're actually able to take action on the situation as well. So, maybe you've stopped fighting the inevitable and decided, okay, let me put a solid timeline in place to actually make the transition. All right, in the near future position, we have the Page of Swords. So for some of you, this could just represent, again, for those of you where you're actually, like I said, I felt like for some of you, you could be the ones enacting the Tower moment. So I feel like this is like the process that you guys are going through, right? Where now you're like, okay, you know what, I'm definitely going to do it. So again, going back with a generic example, if it's a job thing, right? You might say, you know what, I'm definitely going to go through with it. Let me let them know that I'm going to be leaving, right? So this Page of Swords in the near future could represent you putting in your 2-week notice, right? Like, okay, just to let you know by, I don't know, April 30th, I'm no longer going to be working with the company, right? I'm going to be pursuing another opportunity, so it could be one of those things, but there could be like a little bit of hesitancy on your part to actually say it because, again, like I said, I do feel like you've had some kind of sense of loyalty around this older situation, but I feel like you're just being pushed toward the new and you can't really, hold it back anymore. So that's what I'm seeing there. The position of your influence in the situation, we have the Six of Wands, which is Leo energy, which we did see as one of your dice for the month, and also the Magician. So the Six of Wands usually does represent that feeling of victory, of recognition, right? And then with the Magician, that represents, having the tools at your disposal and being able to manifest something. So this is why I was saying earlier on that I feel like for the vast majority of you, this is actually going to be a tower moment that you guys are setting into place, because it definitely looks like you're feeling victorious and feeling like, all right, that weight is lifted off my shoulders. I'm ready to, go wherever I need to go at this point. So I feel like for a lot of you, this is actually going to feel like a lightening of your energy once you actually go through with it. So that's what I'm seeing there. All right, in the environment position, a lot of cards came up. So let's see if we can make sense of them. We have the Strength card, which is Leo energy again. The Knight of Wands, which is technically Sagittarius energy. Six of Swords, which is Aquarius energy. Six of Pentacles, which is more Taurus energy. And the Eight of Swords, which is Gemini energy. So a lot going on there. Now, for some of you, if this is your energy that we're seeing in the environment, this could represent that, again, you might have held back on letting people know your plans for a while, right? But now you could actually finally be moving forward, letting them know the situation. Hey, just so you guys know, I decided that I'm going to move on from this opportunity and pursue other opportunities, right? And then this could just be saying that once you let them know. So for the majority of you, I do feel like this is more of a job thing. Maybe possibly because that 10 came up too, which represents career, social status. But it could be one of those things where you let them know. And then this could just be saying part of them might want to possibly extend an offer to you, like, well, is there, could we offer you more money to get you to stay, right? And for some of you, this could be saying that they actually do decide to do that. And then that could have you second guessing a bit, like, okay, well, this kind of changes the math, right? Like, okay, should I do it? Should I not? But for others, you could just be saying that this is them, wanting to, considering, all right, should we just offer them more money to see if they'll stay? But then ultimately not really feeling um, nudged toward doing that. So I feel like this represents inaction on their part. So it could go either way there. If this is a relationship that you might be leaving behind, because maybe you felt like you were the one putting in the majority of the work in the connection, for example. Similar situation where I feel like for a lot of them, they might, in their heart of hearts, they might want to help restore the balance, to try to do some damage control there. But ultimately, I don't necessarily feel like they're actually going to go through with it. I feel like they're going to, feel like, it might be too late. And quite frankly, they might be right, because like I said, it looks like you're happy with the decision you're making. So that's why I see there. There's probably other storylines in there, but we'd be here forever going through all those. Hopefully, those resonated with you. In the hopes or fears position, we have the Three of Wands. So normally this is a hope, right, where you're waiting for your ships to come in, waiting for some success, some recognition for the work that you've already put in. But again, I feel like you guys might be coming out of that now more than anything, given the rest of the cards that I'm seeing. So for some of you, this could be more of a timeline thing, where this represents the middle 10 degrees of Aries. So this could just be saying that you're hoping to get this ball rolling early on in the month. All right, and in the outcome position, we have the Wheel of Fortune. So pretty solid way to end any reading, but especially when you start off with the Tower, right? So, and like I said, I did pick up on that energy even without this card in the mix, that this seemed like something that you guys either knew needed to go for a long time but held off on it, or for some of you needing that it needed to go and actually taking the action to remove it from your lives. So either way, looks like this is saying that this is what you were meant to do anyway. You were meant to experience this. Given that we see fixed energies on this card, this could just be saying that, you might not necessarily feel the effects of it until we actually get into Taurus season toward the end of April. But either way, looks like this is definitely going to represent a positive shift for you guys. And bottom of the deck, we have Eight of Pentacles. So yeah, for some of you, this could just be saying that this might be something that you've started, a bit of a side business that maybe it started out small, right, with the Two of Pentacles in the past, but maybe it's just been steadily growing. And now you're at that point where, like, okay, I can't possibly do this normal job. Well, normal, but regular job, rather, that I normally do. And also this second gig. So you might just be deciding, okay, I need to get rid of the first thing, especially if you feel more of a, attachment to your own side gig as well, which would make sense. So that's why I see there. All right, moving on to the Oracle card that you guys got. We have Happy Happy. There's the artwork, and the number is 26. So let's see what it says. Obviously, on the surface, looks like a good thing. Okay, it says joy and contentment, a sense of fulfillment, a feeling that all is well. The Oracle's message: your desires are effortlessly fulfilled now. Find joy in the present moment, whatever is happening, and be satisfied with things as they are. You're free from the shackles of longing and able to experience the liberation that comes from actually being happy moment to moment, for you have chosen happiness over yearning for it. Now is the time for feeling joy for the sake of joy and experiencing contentment. None of this is because of something outside yourself. Your happiness is a result of your being at one with Spirit's plan for your life. All is well. The tide is in for now. Enjoy playfully splashing in it. So pretty positive message there, and that definitely does make me think of what I was feeling for some of you, which, like I said, I feel like you might have been feeling a nudge for a while now to remove this situation out of your lives, but for whatever reason you might have just been holding off on doing so. And maybe now when you finally do take that action, or the universe takes it for you for some of you, like we said, it feels like it's going to be a weight lifted off your shoulders. All right, the relationship message says there are moments in a relationship when you just feel good about whom you're with, and you know that your heart is wide open to befriend, to love, and to care for another without wanting anything in return. This is the kind of happy that you just want to share. The appearance of this card on a reading tells you that joy and contentment are here now, not somewhere else or off in the future. The grass is greenest right where you stand. Be grateful and delight in your relationship, and if you're seeking one, be happy now. Happiness attracts more of itself like bees to honey. So definitely an interesting message there. Like I said, for the majority of you, I didn't really feel like this was more of a relationship thing. It felt more financial for the majority of you, but hopefully that resonated with you guys as well. And of course, we're going to be moving into Taurus season toward the end of April, so that could definitely bring more of a focus on romance for you guys at that point. The prosperity message says this is a time to take pride in your accomplishments. You're doing good, providing exceptional service, and are well compensated for it. The world rains gratitude upon you, and you're happy with the results of your efforts and creativity. Isn't it amazing to consider all that you have done? Remember your partnership with Spirit in this moment, too. Your soul has always known you could accomplish anything if it brought you joy. So, definitely a pretty positive message there as well, and that definitely makes me feel like for a lot of you, this could be one of those situations I was feeling where, you might have had your traditional job, but might have recently started to do your own thing on the side. It might have been expanding at a faster rate than you expected to where you're like, okay, I can't manage both. I'm going to go with the thing that speaks to my soul, basically, So hopefully that resonated with you. And lastly, we have a mudra. So the mudra that you guys got for this month is the Yamapasha mudra. There it is there. The keyword for it is interdependence. And there's the info on it if you want to pause it or take a screenshot. But under benefits, it says opens the airways, strengthens the lungs and large intestines, stimulates the immune system, evokes the spiritual insight of the interdependent nature of all phenomena. So if that sounds like something you think would be beneficial for you guys, we'll put the name of the mudra in the description video as always. We'll wrap up there and I'll see you all next month. All right, bye.